Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the KB article. Excited today. We've got a very special guest joining us. As you know, kind of our primary focus is optimizing the growth and financial well-being of those we serve, including our listeners, our employees, and those we serve. And today, join us is Brian Wright. Welcome, Brian.
Welcome.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Hey, I'm here with Kyle Kensler, my co-host, and a little bit about Brian. And I'm going to let him share most of it. But Brian's a writing coach, a publisher, former university professor, just all around kind of experienced guy in the world of entrepreneurship and writing. And he's written a series of books. I've had the opportunity to be involved in some of them and read them. And it's a great avenue for business owners, entrepreneurs to read, get different perspectives. So with that, Brian, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
You went to school in Nebraska.
I got my master's degree there. Yeah, I went to Iowa State first.
Yeah,
got my bachelor's degree in communication, and then started in that major in graduate school and ended up pivoting to adult education. I think it more closely aligned my career goals. Okay. So that's what I got my master's in at the University of Nebraska, and I did teach in college.
Omaha or Lincoln? Is it Omaha or Lincoln?
Lincoln.
So was that in Omaha or Lincoln?
It was in Omaha or Lincoln. Excuse me.
Oh, it was okay. Okay,
all right. University of Nebraska.
So you haven't strayed too far away. So you're still over here in our neighboring state, Iowa. There, so fantastic. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I taught at a 2-year business college. I was an instructor there for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Taught public speaking, English composition, business, math. They were all required courses, so people had to take my classes. Yeah. So I try to make it as fun as possible because those are not subjects that people naturally enjoy, at least
right.
A lot of people do.
Is that what do you find that many business owners, do they, I've thought about it, like maybe becoming a professor or something like that after I'm done with the business career. And I've had some friends that become professors and such out there. But it's kind of like, we're going to talk about you in the books and you're an author and you help and assist others writing their own books and stuff like that. But what a neat way to elaborate on yourself and everything that you've learned, but then also becoming a professor. So it's kind of to me, kind of in the same line,
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't necessarily call it professor. I don't have a doctorate degree, so I don't think I can call myself a professor. But I certainly wasn't. Yeah. But I mean, it was fun for the time that it lasted, and I think that my wheelhouse is helping people get started. Some people who teach or coach prefer working with beginners. Other people prefer working with very experienced people and then just making them a little bit better. I find that I am more in my zone of genius when I'm helping beginners get started, and I recognized.
And it's something that I established that I'm in a smaller networking group here in Omaha, and I just enjoy working with people, and getting people and bringing people up and then coming alongside them and assisting them because, of the years of experience type of thing. It's different for everybody. And I think that you just got kind of that helpful mindset, to help the next person up and kind of get them going and, that type of thing. That's great. So
Brian, you did the University of Nebraska, right? And when I met you, you were in Arizona, right? How long did you leave Lincoln and then go to Arizona?
Correct.
And you were down there for a number of years, right?
26 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No kidding.
And then I moved back to Iowa in 2022.
Yeah.
Is that where you're originally from?
Yes.
Iowa. Oh, okay.
Yep.
You were involved in teaching in Arizona as well, right?
No, I was more in the corporate world. I did some training in a couple of companies in Arizona, and I had a couple roles where that was specifically created for me, because when you do really, really well, sometimes they want to know exactly. They want to know how you did it.
So they give you positions, or they create positions. Yeah.
Right.
That's good. Well, let's jump into the writing and the publishing. Has that always been something that you've done, Brian? Kind of walk us through that, because I know you've got a magazine, Success Profiles. Is that?
We changed it to Ultimate Achievers Magazine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
About a year and a half ago, year ago. Yeah. I like that angle better. So I think it really more closely defines, who I'm trying to reach and who I want to feature. But yes, I do have a magazine. I've also published magazines for other people, some of them recurring, some of them one-off. And in fact, I'm looking to do a little bit more of that. In fact, I've got ideas for some more magazines that I would like to start.
Sure.
Tell us about Ultimate Achievers. Tell us about Ultimate Achievers, because you've got some really big names and profiles that you've gone through and met with, and kind of what prompted you to get started? When did you get started?
Yeah.
And then how did you transition from that start to getting in front of big names that have been profiled?
I started my radio show, Success Profiles Radio, in January 2012. I didn't really know what it was going to end up looking like. I had an idea. I mean, I wanted to interview really amazing people. I wanted to interview people I looked up to so I could learn from them, because some of these people charge tens of thousands of dollars to get coaching, but they'll be on your show for free. So that was really how I wanted to start. And a lot of people will do that. Now, some people will only be on shows when they're actively promoting something. Like Darren Hardy is like that. It's the thing about, the music and entertainment world. They only go on the Tonight Show when they're getting ready to promote their new album or their new film. Right. And you don't see them. You see them everywhere for 2 weeks, and then you don't see them again for another year or two when they're ready to do the next thing. But some people are willing to be on shows anytime. And so I wanted to learn from those people. And eventually I had enough amazing interviews, content that I had not been repurposing, that I realized, why not start a magazine? That's an excellent way to repurpose some of that content. And so the people that I feature on the front cover of my magazine are people I've already interviewed on my radio show.
Oh, nice.
And then I decided to ask people to collaborate with me every month and submit articles. I've got some people who submit something every month. Some people will submit something every once in a while. Some people will submit something just once. And I let people submit for free. It is a paid subscription, though. So if people want to read the magazine and subscribe, it's very, very reasonable. I mean, it's $1 for the first 7 days. And there's a monthly option, a yearly option, or a lifetime forever, which is still insanely cheap. It's just digital, but I may do something with a print version of that at some point down the line. We'll see. I have ideas that I'm turning around in my head. But I think that's an excellent way to repurpose the content, because when you have more than one platform, you can synergize. If I do my radio show, I can promote my magazine. If someone's subscribing to my magazine, I can promote my radio show. I can promote book writing services, and people who I'm helping write their books, I can tell them I have a magazine and radio show. In fact, people who are my book writing clients, I will sometimes repurpose chapters of their book into magazine articles to promote them every month for a while.
Right.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So 1 + 1 + 1 equals, 5 or 6, not just 3.
Sure. I like that hard copy idea. That's, I'm of your generation there, Brian. And if I get something that comes in the mail, those are only and I'm still not there with all the content online type of thing. But though that's where I am a lot of the times, but there is something about having that magazine.
The thing with doing print versions is the more copies you print, the better the rate is going to be to print them.
Sure.
And so I have to know that I have a certain number of copies that I can do and know that they'll all get used before the end of the month. So that's been the obstacle. But
okay.
Perhaps if I do some kind of a marketing campaign to blow it up, then perhaps the awareness will be greater. But it's something that's been turning in my mind, and I'm not done building yet.
No, that's awesome. I'm kind of fascinated with the book writing, right? That process. So everybody, all of us here, on the podcast and listeners, everybody's got their own unique story. Mm-hmm. The problem is, and I had this conversation the other day or yesterday in a meeting we had with a sales coach and things that we're working with. Like my mind can speak things and I do things, and I struggle putting it to paper and clearly articulate. It takes me a lot of time, so I avoid that. But you help individuals like me or those that want to get their story out. Whether people value it or not is left to be determined, but you help them get their story to paper and out to the world to share their experiences and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
What prompted you to get into that and help others?
I've always wanted to be a writer, and it had to start with me being a writer first. I mean, I would write stories when I was growing up, and then I ended up teaching English composition in that college that I taught at.
Oh,
there were two sections of that. There was one where you were just writing papers, and then English Comp 2 was you spend the whole term writing a research paper. And I thought, well, if I can help people teach them how to write a research paper, I can teach them how to write a book. And so I started with coaching people, and it eventually evolved into I can help you write your book too. And so I do both. Most of my people hire me to do it for them, but there are some people who insist on doing it themselves, and I'll just be their guide, their accountability coach, give them ideas. They can send me their manuscript and I can give them ideas. And I've got a couple of people that I'm working with right now on that basis. So it's fun.
I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs and business folks and just people in general. And I see more of my friends and colleagues, especially through Apex and some others that I know, putting out books. I mean, how does that process start and to get started with you? If someone's interested, because I know a lot of our listeners are probably seeing the same things, but just don't know how to get started or don't know the person to get started with. How do they go about?
First of all, it starts with knowing what you want to write about. And sometimes that's the hardest part. And so I'll have a conversation with people, ask them about their background, ask them what they're trying to do in their business. And I'll ask them, is this book going to be something to build your brand in your business, or is it more for a general audience? And that's the first question is, who do you want to talk to? Are you talking to a business audience or a general audience? Because that will guide what you do. In fact, I had a client who had ideas for 2 different books. And when I asked him, what audience do you want to talk to first? He said a general audience. I said, well, then we're writing this book over here, and then we can work on that book later.
Sure. Do you find that it's more towards the business side of things that you have? So is it more for them that they want to brand themselves?
A lot of my clients do that. Yeah. Now I have worked with, I had a client who was an Olympic athlete. And so his was more about his journey to getting to the Olympics and what happened and his career after the Olympics. And so it was more of a memoir, motivational, reach your goals kind of book. But that was fantastic. That's probably one of my favorite books to have helped someone with.
Right. That sounds interesting.
A dream client to work with.
It sounds interesting. You wonder, because they have to work so hard to get up to that pinnacle. And then once they get to that pinnacle, now they have that downside and it can look different for different people. Yeah. I would suspect, so it kind of depends on what you make of it.
Yeah.
And, where it brings you. So yeah, that would be an interesting topic. So anyways, if we have clients or there are people that might be on the podcast here, and so they ever thought about, because I think more and more people these days they see that their friends and colleagues, they're writing books and memoirs and stuff like that. But where do you start and how it can become obtainable? Brian's your guy to give you because I was a horrible writer in college. My roommate was fantastic. And he was just, and he taught me along the way to kind of how to put thoughts together and that type of thing, because that he'd go to the, if he had 1,000-page essay or a 1,000-word essay that was due that day, that he'd go down to the computer room with his outline in the morning, and then he'd knock it out in an hour type of thing. That's where I'd struggle with this thing for 2 weeks. And I was trying to do it all at one time because I didn't have my thoughts in order, and those types of things. And I can imagine that's kind of how you would, help guide people.
One thing I've learned is that I do an outline and I let it marinate in my head for a while. And then when I finally sit down at my laptop, I can get it done really quick. And people think, wow, you wrote that fast. No, it was in the oven for a while.
Right. All that thinking that you had to put into all the,
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're looking to write a book, and I think it's something Kyle and I have talked about or explored more from a branding standpoint, I mean, not any deep discussion. Brian's the guy to at least have a conversation with,
Yeah.
get going. But let's transition over to kind of, you're writing a series of books, maybe not necessarily all directly related. Some are, but
Mhm.
tell us about that journey. It's really about lessons that have been learned through various aspects or different people
Yeah.
and folks' lives. But you take individuals from maybe entrepreneurial background and bring them together to kind of give their own take or
Mhm.
experiences regarding the subject matter. Walk us through that.
Yeah. So this all started when my dad passed in February 2021. And I knew that I wanted to write a book somehow to honor him and the things that I learned from him, something that I could document. And the book idea was the greatest lessons I learned from my dad. And it probably took about 6 months before I was really ready to say, okay, I think I'm ready to do this now. And then I thought, well, how many other people would like to honor their dads in the same way? And so I started
Right.
reaching out and asking people, do you want to do this? And the way I did that is I started a Facebook group called Entrepreneur Live. It's free to join. I would love it if you and your audience would join Entrepreneur Live. Chad, I think you're in the group.
Yeah.
What is it
Yeah.
again? You said, what was it again?
Entrepreneur Live.
Authorpreneur.
Entrepreneur Live. And the reason
Okay.
it's called that is because I did 3 virtual events called Entrepreneur Live. And the recordings are available, entrepreneurlive.com.
Okay.
And so they're still available. But I decided to name my Facebook group that. And after I got to 1,000 members, my coach told me, okay, now make an offer. And so I made the offer of, hey, would you like to be in this book with me? And 28 people chipped in and surprised me with that many people saying yes, but they did. And so that's where that book came from.
Is that all
And then
about writing about their fathers or their family?
all about
Really?
some of the lessons they learned from their dads. Yeah. And it was really fantastic. That book came out in December 2021, right in time for Christmas.
No.
Yeah, man.
That's
from
very
incubation.
impactful. Yeah.
From incubation.
Yeah, that's my biggest regret, Brian. You approached me with that and said, do you want to be involved in it? I'm like, yeah, but then I didn't commit to it. My dad was going through
the
final stages and I had some stuff written and I didn't pull the trigger on it. And I wish I would have. I wish I would have. So,
no, I wish you
keep
would
me
have
in mind if you come up with another one like that.
Yeah. No, it was if you don't know, Chad, he lost his father here just a couple of years ago, and I got to know him, and in fact, he's just a wonderful person. And things that you learn from the fella. I know Chad misses him. I miss him. It was just a great person to be around, but just and I oftentimes think about my father and the lessons that we teach our siblings and our children, type of things, and how when you think about how hard that they were on us, but it was that hard love that they instilled. And no, I think that's a fantastic article or a chapter to continue their legacy. And that's a good way for a person to do that. I love that idea. Gosh.
Yeah.
So that was the first one, right? And so now after that success and I mean, it was powerful. I read stories, from folks. What the next one, and then the next one, you got on this kind of journey.
Well, the next one was the greatest lessons I learned from my mom. If you do a dad book, you have to do a mom book. Yeah. And then I did the greatest lessons I learned from being an entrepreneur, volumes 1, 2, and 3. And then this one, the greatest lessons I learned from my coach, which just came out just a few days ago.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes good sense.
No, that's awesome. Great book. And full disclosure, I was honored to write a chapter in that book. And I did take at least a little time to give honor to my father since I missed that first one. So I kind of bled it together in there. But Kyle's in there too. I mentioned Kyle. So you might want to order 15 or 20 copies and support.
Which one is that now? Yeah.
It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Did you reach the bestseller?
Something really strange happened because the categories didn't show up until almost 2 days after the launch. So I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So I was a little disappointed by not being able to see that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that process, but I ordered a handful of them. It's a great read.
Categories are supposed to start showing up as soon as sales happen, and they didn't. We launched on Friday, and I didn't see any evidence of categories being displayed until almost Saturday night.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, but it's definitely a great book. What's in store for the future, Brian?
Well, I want to keep doing Greatest Lessons books. I want to do a couple more magazine ideas, and then I need to do my story, my journey. I've sprinkled bits of my journey in some of these other books, but I haven't compiled it in one place. And so I'm looking forward to doing that. And I've got some things that I think are coming up soon that I can't talk about yet, but it will be life-changing. So I'm pretty excited about that. Includes expanding the media brand.
Yeah. So I would say, Brian, that you're doing exactly what you like to do.
I do. Right? I am doing exactly what I want to do.
You like the business side of things, and you like the writing, and now you're being able to incorporate that into, the books and helping others write books. And I mean, that's very commendable that not many people can do that, so that you're able to do that and have that peace of mind, and that you're able to help out others and bring them up, because they probably have ambitions that they haven't realized. But just like what you're saying, it's just like, what about having those memoirs and writing them down, as far as being able to leave that legacy and doing your part in order to do that. That's very, to me, that just seems so very fulfilling. I love what it is that you do. Yeah,
it is. And I get excited anytime a client's book gets released. I get excited when any one of mine gets released. In fact, this is book number 10 for me.
Right.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Keeps you going.
It does.
Awesome. If you had one thing that you would tell the aspiring entrepreneur, those just getting started, or maybe they're a seasoned entrepreneur, still, successful, maybe not successful, going through the lumps, the peaks, the valleys, and everything. What's one thing that you would tell them about the power of the written word? And,
I think what I tell people who are hesitating to do it, the longer you wait, the longer the person who really needs you doesn't get to experience your brilliance. So do it. Time's going to pass whether you write your book anyway. So write your book.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's good. I suppose one of the fear factors, of writing a book is maybe that, what's that, fear of not being enough, fear of people not liking their story, or fear of being vulnerable.
Who's going to read it? Who's going to care? But I guarantee you, your family and friends will buy it by default. And the key is to figure out, well, how do you reach the other 7-8 billion people in the world who maybe don't even know who you are? That's the whole point. And that's one reason why I enjoy collaborative books, because I have a built-in list of people who will probably promote the book, and that does help sales, and that helps awareness. And my VA puts together marketing memes. I gave everybody in the book a marketing meme, and just about everybody used those. And I mean, in fact, I'm working on an article for next month's magazine about 10 creative ways that you can use to promote your book. One of them is have a group, have a Facebook group. You can promote your book to your audience that's built in. I would even say do a Facebook Live on a regular basis, post about it every day for a while, because social media doesn't show you everything that everyone says. Right. In fact, I've had people tell me a week or two after launch, oh, this is the first time I'm seeing this. So post every day. And I've had people ask me, okay, so I released the book yesterday. Do I need to post about it again? Yes. You don't stop feeding your baby the day after it's born. It's your baby forever, whether you like it or not. Keep posting.
Right. Because not every post gets posted to everybody. Actually, it's a small fraction that actually goes out there. So you have to do it every day in order to get everybody to at least see it. That's just the one time, but you really like to have everybody see it multiple times in order to get that audience. And I'm kind of doing the same thing right now with an event that we're putting in Omaha, and we got a collaborative little team of people, but that's the next phase, is to get them to use their resources, their inner circles that they already have built within them, and then elaborating upon that is kind of the idea. So no, that's a great thought and that collaboration side of things in order to do that, providing that meme and showing them how to use it, and that type of thing. So, no, that's great work.
Yeah, leveraging the compound effect.
Yeah. And the formula for the meme is very simple. An image of the person, an image of the book in one of the corners, and the title chapter. The chapter to one of your chapters. And that's the meme. And you can do a meme for every single chapter in your book, and you can post it every single day with some thought about that thing. And then in the comments, not in the post, but in the comments, you link the Amazon link to buy your book.
Sure. See, I haven't seen Chad's link yet and got that yet, but
Chad
I shared it. I shared it a few times.
Did you?
Yeah.
I see there again. I hadn't seen it, but I
it's probably not enough, and on a regular basis, like I should before tax season kind of came out posting every day. Now I've kind of slid down that hill. I'm back in the valley. I need to get back up there. But hey, Brian, I appreciate your time, and I know our listeners got tremendous value from it. Just little nuggets that you share. I would recommend everybody look up Brian Wright. Go get his books on lessons. I learned from my father, mom, coach, the whole series. They're good nuggets, and they're different perspectives from different individuals focused on one common thing is being better, being a better leader, better father, better, employer, whatever it may be. Brian, where can folks find you and find your books?
Amazon is a great place. So just type in Brian K. Wright and you'll find probably all my books there. You can go to briankwright.com. And if you want to get on my calendar and talk about your project, callwithbrian.com.
Callwithbrian.com. Awesome. Appreciate it, Brian. Hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in again. As you know, here at KB Article, we are, focused on optimizing the growth and financial well-being of our listeners. I think we did that today. Thanks to Brian for, bringing the value. And again, I recommend you go and follow him, get some of his stuff, take a look at it. You'll definitely benefit from it.
Thanks for the inspiration,
we'll see you next time.
Brian.
You're so welcome. Thanks, guys, for having me on. It was fun.
You betcha.